The deadline to fund the government is 15 days away as the House works to pass spending bills with a new speaker. Joining us this morning to discuss is Brandon Arnold, Executive Vice President at the National Taxpayers Union. Good morning to you, sir. November 17th, quickly approaching. They have to pass 12 bills. So how many have gone through, and is there enough time to get the rest done?
This is unbelievable because we're a month into the fiscal year, the new fiscal year 2024, and they've gotten exactly 0 bills to President Biden's desk. 0. They've been absolutely a failure when it comes to getting spending bills passed. And at this point, no, we can't get it all done before that November 17th deadline. It's absolutely impossible to do so. So they are going to need another temporary spending patch to either take us into January or perhaps into the spring to make sure we don't have a government shutdown. They've been absolutely asleep at the switch.
The new speaker wants to pass 3 more in 3 days. What would happen if they didn't deal, though, Brandon, with each one of these individually and instead try to do a massive omnibus bill?
Well, yeah, the good news is the speaker has set forth a very aggressive agenda, as you mentioned. We are starting to see some action on the appropriations front. They passed one last night in the House. They're going to pass 2 more today and tomorrow, fingers crossed. But to go with the appropriations strategy that they've used time and time again, this omnibus, this massive spending bill, I just don't think it's going to fly this year. There's not enough support for that, particularly amongst Republicans, because we know those omnibus bills are we get stuffed with all sorts of pork, millions of dollars for labor unions in Seattle, for hip-hop museums in New York. That is the wasteful spending of the past. We're hoping to chart a new course forward here and to do the job properly.
We did see Democrats make some significant concessions on the debt ceiling. Do you think we're going to see the same here?
They have to. I mean, as long as the House can hold together and actually pass their appropriations bills as they're planning to do, then there's going to have to be some sort of compromise in the middle. I think what we need is a fiscal commission to do a holistic examination of our nation's finances. All the spending needs to be on the table, and we need to look for ways to address our fiscal problem in a meaningful way.
And Brandon, we spent more on interest payments than we did on programs like Medicaid, than veterans benefits. So what happens if we do not rein in government spending and stop this cycle on this $33 trillion debt?
I don't think people realize how bad the situation is right now. It's not just the rampant spending that we've seen for a long time from Congress. It's, of course, gotten worse over the past few years since the pandemic. But now, because interest rates are so high, we have this compounding factor. It's becoming more and more expensive to finance our nation's debt. Just as it's more expensive to go out there and finance an automobile or a house, it's becoming extraordinarily expensive to finance our debt. And until Congress gets the spending problem under control, we're going to see massive amounts of debt heaped on future generations. It's unfair. It needs to change absolutely right now.
Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold, thanks for joining us as always. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Jim.
Ahead this morning, Fallout